250 Moroccan soldiers, 8 trucks, a jeep and 4 armored cars, hills. The guerrillas open up with their anti-tank guns.
Welcome to African History Times. The Western Sahara conflict is an ongoing conflict between the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, aka the Polisario Front, and the Kingdom of Morocco. The conflict originated from an insurgency by the Polisario Front against Spanish colonial forces from 1973 to 1975, and the subsequent Western Sahara War against Morocco between 1975 and 1991. The conflict escalated after the withdrawal of Spain from the Spanish Sahara. Beginning in 1975, the Polisario Front, supported by Algeria, waged a 16-year-long war for independence against Mauritania and Morocco. Today, the conflict is dominated by unarmed civil campaigns of the Polisario Front and their self-proclaimed SADR state. In 1884, Spain claimed a protectorate over the coast from Cape Bojador to Cape Blanc, and the area was later extended. In 1958, Spain joined the previously separate districts of Segua el Hamra in the north and Rio de Oro in the south to form the province of Spanish Sahara. The indigenous Saharan population revolted to keep Spain out of much of the territory for a long time. There were also uprisings against the French in the 1910s. At a time when France had expanded its influence and control in Northwest Africa. The French defeated these uprisings and inflicted damage on the holy city of Sahara in 1913, especially when one of these uprisings attempted to conquer Marrakesh. The territory was eventually subdued during the second destruction of Sahara in 1934 by Spanish and French forces. Another uprising in 1956 to 1958, started by the Moroccan Army of Liberation, led to heavy fighting. However, with the help of the French, the Spanish forces regained control. However, unrest continued in the 1960s and 1970s until Sahrawi nationalism again became militant. The Polisario Front controls about 20 to 25% of the Western Sahara territory, as the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, aka the SADR, proclaimed by the Polisario Front in 1976. They claim sovereignty over the entire territory of Western Sahara. Polisario calls the territories under its control the liberated territories or the free zone. But Morocco controls the rest of the disputed territories and regards these lands as her southern provinces. The Polisario Front has control of the Sahrawi refugee camps. The camps were set up in the Tindor province of Algeria in 1975 and 1976 for the benefit of Sahrawi refugees running away from the Moroccan state forces during the Western Sahara War. With most refugees still living in the camps, the refugee situation is the most drawn out in the world. The Western Sahara Berm, aka the Moroccan Wall, constructed between 1980 and 1987, is a 2,700-kilometer long defensive structure consisting primarily of sand. It runs through the Western Sahara and the southeastern portion of Morocco. It serves as a barrier between the Moroccan-controlled areas and the Polisario-controlled SADR. The Western Sahara conflict has seen the violation of human rights by all parties involved, including the Polisario Front, the Moroccan government, and the Algerian government. As has been stated by those more philosophical than myself, the first casualty of war is the truth. In a lot of cases, this means suppressing, abusing, or manipulating the media. Well, the Western Sahara conflict is not an exception to this rule. Human rights organizations have accused the Moroccan state for imposing a media restriction in the region through the targeting of protesters and journalists. French non-profit Reporters Without Borders, which tracks the suppression of journalism worldwide, has stated that there is a systematic targeting of journalists within the Western Sahara. The non-profit also stated that the blocking of foreign media access to the region has made it difficult to receive accurate reporting from inside the disputed territory. Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have also been critical of the Moroccan government's very rough handling of protesters and journalists. The Polisario Front has also been taken to task for restricting the freedom of the media and journalists in the territories they control. In 2019, the Polisario Front is said to have arrested 3 Sahrawi activists inside the refugee camps they control. The activists were arrested for criticizing on social media the way the Polisario Front runs its government. In 2020, World Press Freedom Rankings rated Morocco and Western Sahara as being number 133 out of 180 countries due to the bad treatment of journalists and independent media. The country received a very low score of 42.8 out of 100 due to the harassment of the media. Thank you very much for listening. Please join us next time on African History Times.